Hello students and welcome to our first chapter, light. Today we'll be studying more about various phenomena of light. Now you must have learned it in the previous classes that light is a form of energy. Light travels in a straight line. You learned that light can undergo diffraction, which means that it splits into 7 colors, giving you a beautiful band of spectrum, which is VIBGYOR. In this chapter also we will be dealing with some more phenomena. First, I want you to understand why is it that we are able to see things around us. What makes it visible? Is it the sunlight which makes things visible to us? Now let's say that this is sun, and as you all know that sun throws its light in all the directions. Suppose, let's say one ray of light actually falls on any object which is kept around you. Let's say it is a pencil. This ray which is coming from the sun gets reflected towards our eyes, and that's how we are able to see the object. Now this ray which is reflected, which comes into our eyes after reflection from any object, is known as a reflected ray. However, there are rays which come directly from the sun into our eyes. These are called as direct rays, and that's why we are able to see the object. So this pencil, if you see here, the pencil or the pen or any other object, these object does not have their own light. So how do we see them? We see them because the light which comes from the sun gets reflected from these objects, and then that reflected light actually falls inside comes to our eyes. That's how we are able to see any object around us, isn't it? Now, light undergoes reflection, light undergoes refraction, it undergoes absorption and various other phenomena like dispersion, bending and scattering. So these are some of the phenomena about which we will be learning in our class 10th. Suppose, let's consider that this blue box is a different medium. It can be glass, it can be water. And the white portion here is the air medium. So when the light is coming from the air and it strikes any other medium, any other surface, then after reflection all the light ray actually gets reflected into the same medium like this. So the light ray comes from the air and gets reflected back into the air. This phenomena is called as reflection. Now if you see here, what is refraction? So these are some of the important terms that you will be coming across while studying this chapter. So what is refraction? So let's say this is the light ray which is traveling from the air. When the light ray is traveling in the air, as soon as it strikes the interface of the two media. What do you mean by interface? Interface means the boundary where the two mediums are meeting. So this is air medium and this is, again, you can take glass or water. So as soon as the light ray is incident on the interface of the two media, most of the light ray goes inside the second medium, which is water or glass, whatever we consider. So most of the light ray goes inside the medium. This phenomena wherein the light ray enters from one medium and goes inside the other medium is known as refraction. Okay, now here you may ask me that is there no light ray which is reflected here? Yes, there may be some light rays which when the incident ray is traveling in the air also gets reflected back in the air. But then most of the light rays in this case are refracted, which means they enter inside the second medium. And as you see on the other boundary, again these light ray which went inside the second medium, they again come out in the medium of air, as you can see. So this phenomena is called as refraction of light. Whereas when the light ray enters from the same medium, as in this case air, and is reflected in the same medium, which is air again, this is called as reflection. Now look at absorption. So as the name suggests, absorption means most of the light ray must be absorbed in the second medium. So here again the light rays are traveling in the air, and after the light rays are incident on the interface of the two media, air and water or air and glass, then most of the light ray gets absorbed inside the second medium and do not come out from the other interface, isn't it? Here also it may happen that some of the light ray is reflected, few light rays must be refracted, but most of the light rays here in this case are absorbed by the material. So this is called as absorption. So do you understand the difference between reflection, refraction and absorption? Now apart from these phenomena, we do have dispersion, bending and scattering of light, out of which few we will be studying in this chapter and rest of it we will study in the next chapter, which is human eye. In your class 7th, you must have studied that light always travels in a straight line, and you did certain activity to show that yes, it travels in a straight line. But here I am going to tell you something different. What you studied probably isn't absolutely, whereas it has something more attached to it. Now let's say you're going from point A to point B, from your house to your school, and consider that this point A is your house and point B is your school. Now there are two ways to go to your school. One way is a shorter way, but it has got more traffic. Another way is a longer way with less traffic. Now ideally, to reach the school on time, which path will you probably take? Probably you will choose the longer route because it has got less traffic and you may take less time to reach your school, isn't it? However, which is the shortest route? The shortest route is this direct route, which is shown in red, but it has got more traffic. Now, as you chose to take the longer route with less traffic, light exactly does the same. What light does is, it chooses the path which will take the least time to travel from point A to point B. I repeat again, light will take the path which will take less time to travel from point A to point B. So instead of taking a straight path, it may take a curved path if the curved path takes less time to reach from point A to point B. However, the situation that we discussed about going from home to school is on ground with traffic, but light travels in air, and in air you know that there is no traffic for the light. So eventually the straight path would become the path which will require the least time. In this case, that's why the light takes a straight path. But ideally, we should not say that light takes the straight path. We must say that light takes that path which will require less time to reach from point A to point B. And this principle is known as Fermat's principle of least time. What does it state? It states that the path chosen by a ray between 2 points is the path that can be traversed in the least time. Means light will always take that path which requires least time and not the straight path always. Okay, so this is the Fermat's principle of least time, will be used in almost all the phenomena whatever we study regarding light. Now this has always been a very doubtful question. What is light? What is the dual nature of the light? Some say that light behaves like a wave, something like this, but the others felt that light behaves like a particle, which means it travels in a form of some kind of particles which are also known as photons, which are basically small packets of light. Now this confusion actually existed for a very long period of time until they came out with a clarification that light can behave like a wave and it can also behave like a particle. Now how can that happen? Now how do we human beings behave at various situations? We almost have many different faces when we are at many different situations. For example, so at home we may throw our tantrums and we may be the real ourselves. However, when we are at school with our friends, we may just project the best picture of ourselves. In some other situation, we may just be moody and we may not show any kind of expressions. At some other situations, we may be at times very vocal, very violent, and we may project entirely a different personality altogether. So they may behave differently in different situations. Now similar to this condition only, light also behaves like that. Light sometimes behaves like a wave. It may also behave like a particle. You may also take an example of a map. Let's say you take a map of any country, for example India. Now if you want to travel from Delhi to Bombay, you may like to see the road routes. Okay, so in the same map you'll be able to find roads in it. But suppose people who are flying, they would like to see terrains in the same map of India. So they will choose a map which has got terrain. Or you want to know how many states do we have. So in that case you will choose a map which will depict the different states of India along with their boundaries. So the country is the same, but the map in each case, the information in each case which is being depicted is different. So light also behaves like that. Light behaves like a wave. It behaves sometimes like a particle and sometimes like a wave. It depends on what phenomena are we studying. So now quickly run through the laws of reflection of light which you also studied in class 9th. The first law of reflection says that the incident ray, the normal and the reflected ray, they lie on the same plane at the same point of contact, which is this point of contact. This is the first law. The second law in this case says that the angle of reflection is also equal to angle of incidence. So the angle at which the incident ray is incident on this plane will be equal to the angle of reflection. This is the second law of reflection. In the law of reflection, both I and R are equal. Now let's say that we have a plane mirror and the right hand side that so this side which is marked by the red lines, these red brushes here, is the painted side, and this side, the front side, is the polished side, which is the reflecting side also. Now if we keep an object here, let's say, so how is the image formed in case of plane mirror? Now in case of plane mirror, so these two light rays, they do not reach the other side, but these two light rays get reflected in this way towards the eye. So we are observing from this position here. So these two light rays which comes out of this object gets reflected and comes into our eyes. However, here towards us, these two light rays will never meet because they are not converging but they are diverging. So towards us, here where we are standing, these light rays are not expected to meet anyways. But if we extend these light rays on the other side, then the two light rays appear to meet. They do not meet, mind you, they do not meet. They are just false rays. But if we extend them, they appear to meet. That's why this is the image which is made by virtual light rays. That's why it is called as a virtual image. The image formed by a plane mirror will always be erect, means it will be upright, and it will always be of the same size as that of the object. Another thing is that the distance of the image from the mirror will always be same as the distance of the object from the mirror. So these are the properties of image formed by a plane mirror. How is the image going to be? The image is going to be erect. The image is going to be virtual. It will be of the same size as that of the object, and the image will be at the same distance from the mirror as the object.